podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
You're listening to Achtung Millwall, broadcasting from the beautiful South Birmingham. Accept no substitute.
Hello dear listeners, welcome to part 2 of Achtung Millwall 712, our continuing coverage of last night's Cardiff car crash, in which the Lions relinquished a 2-goal lead, looking comfortable, and managed to contrive to concede 2 late goals at the end of the first half, and then a real gutty one at the almost last kick of the game, 90+8 it's listed as on the BBC website, to give Cardiff a 2-2 draw where really we should have been home and dry with a valuable 3 points in our bank. As it is, we both sides share a point. But it was one of those games where, you're just left feeling speechless at the end of proceedings. Now, we've had quite a lot of voice note content. I'm very thankful for everyone that sent stuff in. I've included 2 in the previous show that literally just completed. So I'm going to run the remainder now on this voice note only show. Normally I'll interject between messages, but there's so much here that I just think we can run them back to back. I'm hoping that you enjoy the show. And big thank you to everyone for their contributions. It's looking like a bit of a tough, remainder of the season for the Lions now, dear listeners. But let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's go to Luton with our fingers crossed on Saturday. But anyway, we're going to be running the voice notes now back to back, beginning initially with Archie Whittaker. Take it away, Archie.
Hello?
Hi, Nick. It's Archie Whittaker here after the latest Millwall debacle. I didn't go Saturday. I was at the snooker all day Friday and fucking got in late, and it was an early kick-off. And then I woke up and my trains were not good, so I thought, fuck it, I'll stay indoors. And I'm glad I did. And then today, turn up and 2-0 up after about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it was, and you think, oh, here we go. Could have a nice little comfortable one here. And Cardiff offered nothing, did they, really, in the first half? And then what do? Concede in the fucking last minute. I don't know what Saville was doing. He made a miraculous recovery to come out for the second half, didn't he? I think that... I don't like getting on players' backs, but that was disgraceful. And then... second half, you could feel it, couldn't you? Once that goal went in, you just knew something was coming. And then the whole second half, we're just like, it's like we're playing rugby. We're spooting the ball up and like we're happy that we've gained 10 yards. It's just like the panic in the team. All we need to do is just hold on to the ball for a bit. And look, Billy Mitchell comes on and he fucking hoofs it to their player and they catch us on the break. But look, he does that. But they're all doing that. The whole game was just hoof it up top. Try and nick a fucking a win. It's always the same, and it's just like I feel for Billy Mitchell there, to be honest, because it could have happened to anyone in that team, and to be fair, you lose the ball there, you still got time to recover, and we don't. And I'm just disillusioned with it all, because every fucking day you're reading newspaper articles about assets, this and fucking this and that, and I'm just thinking they're serving up this dross every week, and the last thing you want to know about, like, I don't care about fucking assets and things like that. I want to go and watch a team that can play a bit of football. And you know what? The 20-year-old Bangura Williams, right? In any other job, you get a youngster who comes through and he looks a bit like, oh, he actually knows what he's doing, this kid. You step your game up, don't you? They're showing, the youth are just showing this lot up. I mean, we've got too many senior professionals, they're meant to be. And they're all panicking. They've got to be above and beyond that. Of course, we're panicking in the fucking stands because we've seen it all before. But not once was there a player to just get the fucking ball on the floor. The only person that can hold his head up high, I think, is Casper Denor. Because the rest of them, it's beyond me. It's beyond me how we've let it get this bad. And I really do think we're in a serious trouble here. I don't know what I don't think you can't really blame the manager now. It's early doors, but I've never been so uninspired by a manager. Even his interviews, they're just dead. It's like there's something going on behind closed doors. I just don't know, but the people out of contract and stuff like this. I mean, try and think of the positives. I mean, the French fella was good when he come on. He looked good, and the young Bangura Williams, another fucking asset that we've got, and it's just. I hope we stay up, because I really, really think we're in for an absolute dogfight here, and I don't see where our next win's coming from. I mean, I said that before today, but we're 2-0 up. So where's the fucking, like, we can nick a 0-0 or fucking win 1-0, but we score 2 and then it's just, it's only at Millwall. It's just, I'm going to shut up because I'm driving myself mad already, and I'm sure everyone's going to be the same, because that was serious toilet to give that lead away like that. Anyway, Luton are fucked at the minute, so hopefully we nick something there. It's going to be a long, old few months. Anyway, all the best. Cheers, Nick.
Cheers, Archie. I did say I was going to run all the messages back to back, and the first thing I'm doing is coming straight in on the back of Archie's message. It was a fantastic message, and it sums up, I think, how everyone is feeling in the wake of that capitulation last night, Archie. Interesting point, and you make a very good point, and I think I said it in one of the previous shows. I read a while ago, I read a book about the finances of football and this kind of Moneyball approach. I can both see the logic and the economic sense of finding talent cheaply and selling it on expensively. I get that. I think everyone listening to this show can understand the fundamentals, but you mustn't forget the football side of it that underpins the whole the whole show, because we're in strong danger of being cash rich in the bank. £20 million with, if you throw together the Zian Fleming and the Romain Esse deal. If I know it's a very simplistic way to do it. It's probably don't have £20 million sitting in the bank account, but that's, in accountancy terms, that's how much money we've made out of those two players. We're in danger of having 20 million quid's worth of assets or cash in the bank, whatever way you want to call it, whilst we decline in the most miserable fashion towards League One. Because if you take away Race Bangura, who I thought looked like a different level he's come through from non-league actually, and come through our under-21 system, looks really good. If you take them away, then I think somebody said I think it might have been Bill in the previous show that I just did, the first part one of this coverage, that we've got very, very average, very basic, at best functional players, at worst poor players. We saw examples of that extreme, those two aspects of their play on Saturday and then last night. Functional at best and poor at worst. Reece, I think, stands out. I can see how I have this vision of James Berylson sitting in the director's box like the old Tom and Jerry cartoons, where there goes ka-ching and that becomes dollar signs in his eyes. You can imagine that little jinking run, the close control, brilliant close control. I sit above that where he performed that little bit of trickery and skill. And honestly, listeners, it's one of those moments that really fills your heart with joy. That's why you go watch football, because you want to see moments where someone does something that you just could not dream of ever being able to do. That's what Race did. That's what Romain Esse could do. He did the same flicks and back heels and all that. He's gone now, and we are now cash rich. Hopefully we're going to be asset rich with Race, because he looked like the only creative outlet that we had in that injury plagued squad. The losses of Ryan Leonard and Danny Mack both look like big blows to us. So no, I mean, to go back to your points, Archie, I mean, you're right. No one starts following Millwall because they fell in love with a balance sheet. As an adult, you understand that's how life has to work, but you mustn't forget the football side of it. And at the moment, it strikes me that for whatever reason, the bank room things that we're all guessing at, because I don't have any inside track on it, listeners, but I'm guessing if you link together various events with the loss of form, that one or two of the senior players seem to have lost their vavavoom, don't they? Let's put it in a humorous way. They've lost their vavavoom. They've gone off the boil for whatever reason. If they can't get their mojo back, then it's a cliche to say bring in the kids, isn't it? And Alan Hansen once said you can't win anything with kids. But honestly, the skill that we've seen from the likes of Race and some of the other boys when they've had their little moments, it can't be any worse than watching what we saw last night, can it? If we're going to get beat, let's at least get beat by people giving 100%, looking like they care, and actually with a modicum of skill. And then if you get outdone on those fronts, you've got to say fair play to your opponents. Big thank you to Archie. I am going to run a few voice notes back to back now, listeners. I won't keep interjecting. They're going to be listening now to Steve Morton and then Matt Richards. First up, Steve.
Hi, Nick. Hope you're well. Nick, Steve Morton here from up in wet and miserable Bolton. I thought I'd do the unusual thing of actually send you a message before tonight's game at versus Cardiff. Just driving home from dirty Leeds. Been in a meeting all day and catching up with your post-Hull show, part 3. I'm really interested to listen to your thoughts on the Gallen interview and, more importantly, the recruitment that we've done over the last 6 months, year. Nick, it's quite frightening, isn't it? Around £5.5 million on Ivanovic, Aziz, Langstaff, Kelly and Mayer. And you're right, we got Jensen in there, making it nearly 6 million. You'd probably say Jensen, okay. I still feel jury's out a little bit, but been decent. Aziz, definite win. The others, dear, Kelly, we haven't even seen yet. Mayer, I think there's a player there, haven't even seen him yet. It's really worrying, isn't it? And I do think, like you sort of intimating, I think Gallen is going to be coming under pressure because it's his job to recruit the players for this new model and make us better, as well as being able to sell our assets for profit. My real concern on top of that is, it was at least a month ago, I think it was News at Den, or certainly a reputable source, stated that we were desperate for a cam, number 10, in the January window. Well, forgive me if I'm wrong, but it's the 21st of January today, and we still haven't got a bloody number 10 in. I don't see Connolly as a 10, really. And surely he's not what we were looking for. He's a good replacement for Bradders, probably, but not that. So I am starting to get really worried about recruitment and seriously questioning Mr. Gallen. He's happy to sell off dear old Romain, which is, look, I'm like you were saying, I think it was overall a good deal for us. Probably inevitable we had to do it. But again, where's the replacement? We've known he's been going for weeks, if not months. No replacement. Should have been straight in and basically playing tonight, let alone the weekend. So, yet again, we're going to be doing bargain bucket, lastminute.com. Really worrying, Nick. I'm hoping I'm being two glass half empty, and the other side of that is glass half full. Let's be honest, we win against Cardiff tonight. It's a much different picture, but I think, like most people, probably not hugely confident. But look, we should be able to put a performance in, get a result, and everybody can calm down and be a little bit more positive going into the Luton and Pompey games. But anyway, that's my thoughts, Nick. Listen, great to speak to you. Your show is brilliant, Nick. Love listening to it while I'm travelling around the country. Keep up the good work. It's really, really good. And fingers crossed we get a win tonight. So come on, you Lions.
Hi, Nick. Matt Richards here. Dialing in. I'm sure I'm only going to be saying the same as everybody else, but I think it's a form of personal therapy, if you don't mind. Hope you don't charge for this. Yeah. I mean, it's obviously about last night, but it's about in general, really. I place no blame at the door of Alex Neil. The squad is thin and poor. It says something that probably, two of our best players last night were kids who have barely played any first team games. Scanlon and Bangura Williams. The rest just need to be binned off as much as possible. We're not getting anything from them, really. Gallen has got to step up in this next 12 days or something of the window. I think it ends on the 3rd of Feb. We've got to get some championship standard players in because it's not good enough at the moment. We need a forward. We need attacking midfielder with legs. Billy Mitchell's not the answer. I mean, he works hard, but he's never actually delivered much output, has he? I mean, he works hard, but how many assists has he scored? Has he had? How many goals has he scored? And Sav is struggling. Casper's our best bet, and he hasn't got the legs either. So midfield needs work. Obviously, poor Danny injured and Leonard as well. So right back is definitely needed. It's just worrying, and all this talk of assets and stuff like that. Well, it's no good having assets if we go down, do we? Because the value of those assets will go down. We have to stay in this league. And, Jimmy Belson and Steve Gallen, it's time to step up. This is serious business. We're just above the bottom, the bottom three. And, we haven't got Neil Harris now to, smash that glass in case of emergency. And we're missing that Harris. Harris would have got 10% more out of the players. I know he's gone, so it's no good hopping back to that. But this is I think every fan should realise limitations of the squad and what Harris was getting out of that squad. Poor Alex Neil was inherited that squad. So that's it, really. I think I'll wrap it up. I think it's the end of my therapy session. Probably same time next week. If it's okay, I'll dial in. Fingers crossed we get something out of Luton. But yeah, it's not looking good. Cheers, mate. Take care. Come on your lines.
It does feel a bit like a therapy session sometimes, listeners, doing this show. I'm the strangest therapist in the world, if that's how it comes across to you. Big thank you to Steve and to Matt. The Millwall bus feels like the wheels have not quite come off yet, but they're getting very, very loose on the end of the chassis. That's my take on it all. It is a big moment. Steve Gallen is the director of football. Steve Gallen is the repository of transfer wisdom and knowledge, being sarcastic, but he's the man around which the transfer dealings of the club revolve. There's a clear need for certain types of players in that squad. I'm not going to go over them all again. People, and conversations we've had, everyone identifies similar kinds of areas. And it's up to him, with cash now in the bank, listeners, to make those signings. Because if we don't, as Matt has just said, we're going to be planning on how we get to places like Shrewsbury and Stevenage. No disrespect to those clubs instantly, they're just metaphors for the lower levels that we'll fall into if we don't get this situation sorted out. It needs sorting very, very soon, in my opinion. I'm going to take a quick advertising break, listeners. Then we'll be back after the messages with Bobby T. I'm going to be interspersing his messages. He's sent me a series, as ever. Then Ben Anthony after Bobby T.
Achtung, Millwall.
Nick Hart, Bobby T. I honestly don't know where to fucking begin, mate. Game of two halves. I'm actually heartbroken and stunned. Sorry for my language. Cardiff cunts! I'm fucking fuming at them Cardiff cunts, man. I can't believe it, man. Billy Mitchell, one of our own. He can't even put a pass together. Oh, mate, I'm just in the car now. Yeah, Nick Hart. I mean, I saw you earlier on. Game of two halves. Yeah, Scatter man of the match. I gave it to fucking Casper, the ghost. And second half, we shut up shop. Referee's a cunt. I mean, who can you blame? It's not Alex Neil. And then to see the game out, game management. Oh, I just don't know where to carry on. But then I think we're not doomed, but I think it's 5 points over the relegation. QPR, they were bottom. The list goes on, mate, and I just feel like sucker punch now. Like Billy Mitchell, one of our own, playing it. I mean, you know what? I'm just lost for words now.
Hello, Nick. Ben Anthony here, just driving home from the den. I'm so pissed off. It's not sensible to be sending in a voice message straight away after the game, but fucking hell. The last two games, tonight and on Saturday, we've played Hull and Cardiff, both absolute dog shit. Both were complete crap. I actually think Cardiff looked worse than Hull did tonight. And we've come away with 1 point. And the performances, first half today was fine. We were all right. People were saying that we were playing really well. I think we played okay. We invited on the pressure. Cardiff had nothing to offer, and we invited the pressure on, and then it was calamity in the box right at the end of the half that led to the goal, which is it was just a joke. And second half, it's the same thing again. We're just inviting the pressure on ourselves. We can't clear a ball, can't actually hold on to the ball and pass it. It's a fucking joke. We've got to be learning the lessons. The players that aren't performing just need to be either shipped out or phased out of the game, and you need to be trying some other options. I know we've got injuries, I understand that, but we've got a game against Luton on Saturday. We need to get something out of it. Honestly, for me, if Langstaff or Watmore starts, either of them, I think Alex Neil, there needs to be serious questions about whether he's qualified to be a football manager. We cannot be playing games with 9 players and 2 wage thieves. Both of them are fucking shit. They need to be gone. I cannot stand watching either of them. They have not got a fucking clue what they're doing. Langstaff, I thought, let's be fair to the geezer. I'll watch him and give him a chance and see maybe if it is just that the players aren't delivering for him, but he doesn't stand in the right position. The bloke does not play up front. He's out on the wing and he can't fucking cross a ball or hold on to a ball. Or the ball comes in, the cross comes in, and he's in totally the wrong place. Stood there like a fucking lemon. Get him gone. He is utter shit. We've got to make some signings in this January window because we are banging trouble. I'm so pissed off. Yeah, fucking hell. I can't do it, Nick. It's pissing me right off. All right, talk to you later.
Yeah, Nick Hart. Bobby T here. I'm just not even an emotional wreck. I'm just shell shocked. I mean, I'm not saying we could have been out of sight because second half we didn't even try. Langstaff runs like a headless chicken. 2 players got injured now, so really and truly Leonard and poor Danny Mack. The guy from The Voice, Kramer, the French, the guy from The Voice, or I don't know, the pop star. He done all right, man, but game management, it just feels like a sucker punch now. 5 points clear now, going to Luton. They won tonight. QPR won tonight. Cardiff didn't deserve that. What more can I say, really and truly, now, Nick Hart and the Achtung Millwall? I saw you in the corner. Yeah, Bangor Williams and all that, he got cramped, got taken off. You know, the boys are Kid Wonder. SA who? Fuck SA now. Bangor Williams, yeah, 40 million. Put a slap on that. I mean, the nutmeg and all that, but end product. Mihailo and Langstaff aren't playing good together. 4-4-2. One up front. The list goes on, man. And you know what, Nick Hart? Maybe it is upstairs. Maybe upstairs, something's wrong upstairs. We were fucking winning 2-0. What happened? Stavs on the floor. The referee, 2-1. Oh, I knew that. They'd come out, try. Millwall, old guard, back defend to the wall. Threw it away because of Billy Mitchell. Bye for now, Bobby T. Nick Hart, great podcast. Love the show. Thanks for today, seeing you. Enjoy the perfume. Bobby T signing off. We fucked it. League One, here we come. Bye for now, Bobby T. Fucking fuming. Good night.
I should add, listeners, that perfume throwaway comment that Bob made there. I saw Bobby earlier on, shook his hand, said hello to him. And Bob's got a lovely way of always giving you a little gift, and gave me a little aftershave sample. I thought it was imperial leather. It was called Iberian leather. And this all sounds wrong, doesn't it? Perhaps I should stop talking about it, listeners. This is a Millwall podcast after all. But anyway, I got a little sample of Iberian leather, the whole thing. All right, I'm going to leave it there, listeners. Big thank you to Bobby. Wonderful stuff. And before him, Matt Richards. Good stuff. I haven't really got much to add. The thing with George Savile was very odd. It's one of the oddest things I think I've seen in a long time. Because he was laying down. I think he was trying to work one over the referee. And I don't know what careers advice George he might be thinking of post football when the football packs up. But I would recommend it isn't an acting career, George, because laying down there on the floor, I could see he weren't really injured. He was trying to work the referee. The referee, I think, saw straight through it. And I think that's why he let play go on around George Savile, who carried on laying down. I don't get what was going on there. I think maybe a bit like a method actor. Once you commit to the role, who was it who played the Joker? Was what's his name? The bloke who played the Joker, the madhouse looking bloke. I think he threw himself into the role to such an extent that he almost, he had to live it for the weeks of the shooting of the film. And I think that was what George was trying to go for there, that he committed to being injured and he had to continue on to be consistent in the role. And Cardiff got their shot away and scored for a 2-1. That gave them a lot of hope for the second half. Yeah, don't go into acting, George. Anyway, my mind is still reeling from that whole perfume business. Let's move along, listeners, and listen to Barnesy. I'm going to put a deep voice. Listen to Barnesy.
Hello, Nick. It's Barnesy here. Just thought I'd give you my thoughts on tonight's game. Yeah, very hard to take that one. I thought we looked so much better than we did Saturday. We were awful Saturday, and we had a lot of energy tonight. And I think that had a lot to do with our new man, BGW. He was awesome. He was running at players, and any player that plays defensively doesn't like any player running at you with pace, and that's what we got tonight. Scanlon, great finish for the first goal. We were really on the up, weren't we? And then, we didn't look in any trouble. Keeper didn't really have any saves to make. We looked comfortable. Denor, Savile were running the show. They got into the game a little bit towards the end of the half. And there was Cooper. I was saying, my God, is he someone given Franco Baresi's knee to Cooper? Because he was spraying passes all over the shop and he was fantastic. And then the pass that he did get wrong, he gave it straight to their fellow Willett and he puts it in the top corner. So I think that was a big blow, them scoring just before half time. And it really set us back, I think. And then second half, we looked okay. Didn't look in too much trouble. They had a few chances. But, I think we were comfortable. And then the injuries, which was a big blow. Leonard looks like his calf's gone. And poor Danny Mack, it looks like he screwed his knee right up. I hope it's not too serious. And then, obviously, the youngster goes down as well with looks like a hamstring issue. So, yeah, it all happened in a few minutes, didn't it? So that was a bit of a blow. But the French guy come on. I thought he did very well. Put in probably one of the best crosses we've seen for a few months. And Langstaff had the chance, followed it, unlucky. But, yeah, I think we should chip in and get some Langstaff some longer studs because he spent most time on his arse. But, no, it was a battling performance. They were so much better than it was on Saturday. And, it was just when we needed someone to hold the ball and, not just kick it, like unfortunately Billy just got panicked towards the end and just lost the ball, and we needed a sort of someone just to get hold of that ball and, take the sting out of the game. And unfortunately we panicked because we've not been in that situation for such a long time, and you could tell we just panicked and was getting rid of it. It was like a hot potato, wasn't it? And we should have been on the ball, spraying it around, just keeping the ball, and we could have seen the game out. But unfortunately we didn't. But positives were we were so much better, more energy, and I think that helped because we had the youngster playing in his position. And unfortunately, it looks like he might be out for a little while, but hopefully it's just cramp. You don't know. But positives, we were a lot better, and we couldn't get any worse, but we were so much better than Saturday. Let's hope the injuries are not too serious, but we're going to have to really dive into the squad now and going to get some loans in to cover those positions because we are threadbare at the moment. Anyway, mate, take care. See you later.
Cheers, Barnsley. Yeah, Bangura Williams, what a prospect. I mean, we've said already a few times on this show and on the previous one, the flair of the boy. I've not really followed the under-21s enough, so maybe listeners out there can, suggest a few. But, I do wonder, having seen the boy come into the team and look so influential, and we've seen Romain Esse come through the same pathway, now moved on. But, we haven't really seen much of the under-21s, and they did prevail in that cup final thing that I went to a year or two ago now. It might be even 2 years ago. So there must be, you just wonder whether there's a source of untapped talent that we're not using. Maybe now will be a time where we start to see one or two. The boy, Massey, played against Dagenham, didn't he? Let's see them, because we can't do any worse than the very jaded looking senior members of our squad at the moment. Now, I'm well aware that the Championship is a very hard arena, but we those of us old enough to go through the late 1990s remember well the enforced use of younger players, which came good on that occasion. Maybe there might be a little bit more of a phased introduction, but certainly some of the boys that are in the under-21s might now find themselves in first team action. And if RBW, that's a good. I'm going to use that acronym myself, RBW. If these are an example of what we've got available, then more power to them anyway. So big thank you, Barnsey. I've just been upstairs and had a quick sniff of the Iberian leather just to remind myself what it smells like. And I'm going to go now to Glyn Horner and then Jamie Mack. Take it away, Glyn.
Hi, Nick. Glyn here. So, post-Cardiff match, I think Alex Neil has started to get a grip on who we can trust and who we can use in what positions now. Certainly saw a much better setup of the team, some more ambitious team selections, bearing in mind his options are sort of becoming more limited by the minute, judging by tonight. Defensively, we're looking sound. I don't blame Jensen for either of those two goals that went in tonight. Ultimately, you get the ball smashed in your face from 3 yards away. You're going to consider yourself a bit lucky to keep it off the goal line. So he's definitely not responsible for that. And I think ultimately, had a good game. And I think all the defence did. Tanganga's just got an amazing ability for being able to spot the second ball when it drops. He's always onto it before the striker. He's such a talented player. Really love watching him play. I thought Joe Bryan had a really good game, to be honest with you. Towards the end he started to look tired and make more errors, but I think this, every 1 in 5 games Joe Bryan will have a superb match and remind us all why he's got the reputation he has. And I think tonight was one of those games. I think he really did do well. The story has to be the injuries, right? I mean, losing 2 right backs in one game and losing Danny McNamara and what looked like a really bad injury. I'm really sorry to see that. That and then losing Bangura Williams. What a shame. no team performance is going to be unimpacted when losing 3 first-team players, especially players of that quality. I just wonder really now, maybe is this the opportunity for us to use Crammer? And I mean, he was a bright spark in what was a very mixed evening. I think he certainly looks like a very classy player. Obviously, there's a lot more to see of him, and he's got to demonstrate consistency over a longer period of time. But putting in some superb crosses. I mean, maybe he should be taking the free kicks from now on. Really good crosses, really good with the ball at his feet. Seemed pretty pacey, able to turn the defender. I mean, maybe there's a role for him in midfield as well. So yeah, that is a positive. The defensive is a positive. I thought Langstaff was better today. Certainly showed a bit more threat. Run offside a few times too many for my liking. And maybe that's a quality part of his game that he's got to get better at. But what more? I'm sorry to say, I don't think Watmore did much tonight, and he does a lot of off the ball work, but there's got to be better options out there. So I do wonder about the future of Watmore in this club. But yeah, good selections. I think the midfield of Saville and Denor were phenomenal tonight. And I can see why Alex Neil made the substitutions that he did do. None of it really surprised me. I mean, his options on the bench to plug the gaps and the ongoing injuries that were unravelling as the game played out. He did tremendously well, I think, the manager. So he needs more time. People need to get off his back. And I'm confident he will turn this around and keep us in this division this season. But we obviously need to boost his squad now. I mean, we've got players falling by the wayside by the minute. So come on, you Lions, on to Luton.
Big thank you, Glenn. You've got me thinking now. I bet Tristan Cramer wears that aftershave that Bobby gave me. Iberian leather. I bet he does. Duncan Watmore, I think probably not. He probably slaps on Oda Weirsider, I think. Anyway, my mind is wandering. Next up, Jamie Max. Have a listen to Jamie from Australia.
Hello, Nick. Jamie from Australia. After the thoroughly disappointing last-minute equaliser against Cardiff, which should have been a 2-0 win, I think, to Millwall if circumstances had been different. Mixed bag tonight. I was watching Leonard bomb on down the wing and seeing his new tactics. And Scanlon opened up, obviously, with a fantastic goal, showing a little bit of quality, which we've been missing. Then we had the Banganga Williams bit of magic, showing us that we're not going to miss SA, and we've got a ready-made replacement in the wings, and he actually looks a lot better than when SA first appeared on the scene. He looks ready to slot into that side. To put us 2-0 up, and then they sort of huffed and puffed, and they didn't really look like they was getting into the game. And then a bit of a comedy of errors where Cooper sort of tackles Leonard and the ball squirms out, and they fires a rocket into the corner, leaving Jensen with no chances. But the performance of Scanlon was very good. I enjoyed that. The second half, we come out and we looked like our numbers. It was a shame to see McNamara come back in and get injured. But Monsieur Kramer looks like a decent player, pace, controlled on the ball, and I'm excited to see where he can come in. I love Cooper as a centre-back, but I think that him and Tanganga might make an awesome partnership. We'll see. We're very light on numbers at the moment. Some leggy performances, stand-up performances, I'd say, from obviously Scanlon. I would say also Denor had a good game, good finish on him as well. It was like a little pit ball, and I was really disappointed for him that it was him that lost the ball in midfield for them to break and eventually get the equaliser, which had Cooper show that little bit more grit as well. I hate to dig him out here, but winning the header and he just got pushed over, the ball wouldn't have dropped into the middle. Hard to take, really. Langstaff had a decent game, ran around like didn't have too many chances. Had a very good volley, good energy, breaking down the play when he put point in the 10. I liked the big Serb when he came on. He looked good. Lots of nice little touches, seemed to want to put himself about a bit, seemed to kind of get the Millwall way a little bit more. And I thought, to be honest, when they put Mitchell and Honeyman on there, we'd just shore it up and we'd see it out. But that wasn't to be the case, and we roll on. I'm expecting to be some tired bodies going into the game in Luton. And we're not much left in the pack, and with our only really recognised winger being Duncan Watmore, who was probably our worst player, it's all being held together by band-aids. But again, we roll on. It's 1 point, we didn't lose, but really it should have been 3. Come on, you Lions.
Achtung, Millwall.
Hi, Nick. You know who it is, Bobby T. Just parked up now, I'm home. Where do I start? I'm really tired of right towards the end. You saw Tatanga, the way he walked off that pitch. He was disgusted. Some fans saying, Alex Neil, your football shit. The crowd was embarrassing tonight. Yes, it's on Sky. But look at the facts, right, Nick? And you were there. I saw you before the game. What we were hoping for. The first 44 minutes was good. Like Bangor Williams, Scallon, the Scouser. The game management, winning 2-0. Not seeing games out. And then 44th minute, Savile on the floor. Referee's a cunt, obviously. These are the facts. They go in 2-1. It's like the Blackburn game a couple of years ago, 3-1 up. The mentality coming in that second half, we just shut up shop. We didn't take our chances. Now, Mihailo and Langstaff, I'm not going to lie to you, they're not really working together. I'm not saying the donkeys. Poor Langstaff, he's not championship material. He runs like a chicken like Gregory back in the day. No end product. Works hard, workaholic, no end product. No wingers. Adamaya's gone. Where the fuck's Kelly? And I will say this, Nick Hart. Casper, for me, was good. Man of the match, not Scallon. George Savile. I think it's time to either be dropped to the bench or not retire. But you just don't cut it anymore, Savile. And Billy Mitchell, well, he's one of our own, but I can't really slag him off here because he made the mistake which got to the equaliser. So Savile is a no-go for me anymore. Getting too old, too tired. The guy who come on, poor Danny McIntyre, now we're truly fucked. The guy who come on, Kramer, the French Riviera, the guy from X Factor or the guy from The Voice, like the guitar. Anyway, I'm going off here now. Oh God Almighty, really and truly, I think we deserve League One, Nick Hart. To not see that game out breaks me. I'm tired of this shit. Alex Neil, I'm not calling for the head, but do you remember Gary Rowett? His Millwall team, Oxford, they were losing tonight and they won. Neil Harris, back in November when Harris was in charge. Nick Hart, Achtung Millwall. Our Millwall beat Leeds and Burnley, and we were 5th in the league. We were 5th. Careful what you wish for, all the fans are saying. Now he's gone and Gary Rowett's changing Oxford now. And we were 5th in the league. Where are we now? Bang in trouble. And then when we beat Leeds 1-0 and we were 5th, guys, QPR were second bottom with 5 points. Now they're on the playoffs, QPR, near that. And we got them, the list goes on. Good night. Bye for now. League Hun, here we come. Unless we don't change a thing. Heineman never play again. I don't care. Billy Mitchell, you're not the one. Dan Kelly, I don't know where you gone missing. Scallon's not our player. Mihailo, he tries and puffs. Langstaff isn't cutting it. Ryan Kent from Rangers Sunderland. We're getting Ryan Kent now. Another striker we're going to buy. Bye for now. Love you all. Bobby T signing off. Heartbroken. Fucking sheep-shacking cunts.
Hi Nick, hi listeners. Well, it's the morning after the night before, and what a dreadful shame that we gave away that 2-goal lead. First reflections on the game. The physicality. I was looking at our squad out there and our team playing, and all right, we've got Jake Cooper and a few other guys, Tanganga's, I would say normal build, not a big fella, but a lot of our players look like boys against men, and that's against a lot of the teams. I'm talking about Langstaff, Watmore, George Honeyman, Billy, Danny Mack, you can go on, Joe Bryan. They're all small fellas. They're, sub 6 foot and, well below 6 foot, a lot of them. And, what do they weigh? 10, 11 stone. I mean, that used to be the kind of normal build back in the 70s and 60s and 50s and all this kind of malarkey. But, when you look at the Cardiff players, they've got 100 kilogram centre-backs. That's 16 stone in old money. And they got 100 kilogram attackers as well. And I was looking at, when they were coming down the channels, the amount of physical pressure they were putting on our players. No wonder, they were hitting the deck. It was like boys against men at some point. I mean, Langstaff and Watmore were just getting brushed off the ball. And that's another aspect of modern football. I mean, in the old days, it was a bit of an equaliser when you could just slide tackle and, take a ball in the man, because you didn't necessarily have to be a really big guy to do that. In actual fact, you could argue that it was better to be small and nippy to do that. It was a matter of timing. But you can't take ball and man now in a modern game. So there's a lot of upper body physicality. There's a lot of pushing and holding and barring. It's, a bit of a wrestling match, seems to me. And I'm afraid to say, we were dreadful. I mean, you go through it. Casper Denor, scored a goal, had a good game, but how many times did he not win the second ball? Jules Saville, what a horrendous performance. Someone so reliable. What was he doing, rolling about on the floor? I know he likes to play the ref and win cheap free kicks, but there comes a limit, mate, for fuck's sake. So I just feel for us, I feel for the fans. The atmosphere was dreadful in the den. I was talking to some mates of mine behind me. We've all been going to Millwall for many, many years. You're talking about 150 years combined support amongst the three of us. And, teams come here and say, where's your fucking atmosphere? And they rip the piss out of us. They bully us off the pitch. They outsing us in the crowd. It's shit. Absolute shit. And, it's so different from the Millwall I used to know. It's so different from the Millwall just a few years ago. We're so bipolar. We're up and down. We get the den rocking against Leeds and Burnley, and then we perform like this. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. I mean, that second half was just a joke. We're the home team with a goal in front, and we put a low block on and defended for 96 minutes and let a goal in. You just knew it was going to happen as well. It's so depressing. So there are some bright sparks. Bangura Williams, lovely jubbly. The new kid from France, Camera, he looked good. I mean, he was better down the right wing than some of our so-called right wingers. But I think Alex Neil's got to be brutal and he's got to make some changes. But having said that, where'd you go? We got a lot of players who are not wanted by other clubs. We got some young talent. We got some ageing championship players. The future don't look good. It really doesn't. I would not back us as being anywhere near, mid-table. I would see us firmly in a relegation battle. We're going to go Luton. We're going to go Portsmouth. And let's see how the land lies after that. But boy, oh boy, I mean, you switch your TV and you watch other clubs play. And I just can't reiterate how good we made Cardiff look, and they're below us in the table. They look stronger, they were passing the ball about. For me, our problems are, and I sound like a broken record here, but you've got to fix that midfield. You've got to fix it. You need someone who can show a bit of composure on the ball, hold the ball up, and at least spray a pass out. And this is where we're missing Zian Fleming, He was strong on the ball, he could hold it, and get his head up and pass the ball out to the flank. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. But we've got players who look uncomfortable on the ball. Saville and Denor can't wait to get rid of the ball, and invariably they pass it backwards to defenders who come and increase in pressure. And you're not going to win fuck all doing that. That's a recipe for disaster. We keep losing the ball in dangerous areas. We keep giving away cheap fouls and free kicks. And I've got nothing positive to say, really. So, fucking hell, what do we do? Come on, you Lions.
Cheers, John, and cheers, Bob, before John. What do you say? I mean, it's not easy I try my best when I do these shows, listeners, to look on the positive side, try and give everyone a bit of some reason to, to be cheerful, so to speak. It was very difficult last night because I think the contrast between leading quite well. I mean, I don't think we should let the second half capitulation, collapse, whatever you want to call it, overshadow the fact we did start brightly. So there's something. And we did have two bright lights in Reece Bangura Williams and Callum Scanlon, not our player, as I think Bobby said and we've said previously. So there was some brightness there and something to grab onto. The fact we can't hold on to the lead and the fact that we capitulate at the very last moment of the game is down to senior players. I'm going to include Billy in that sense because he's been around long enough. He's Millwall through and through. He's still a young man, but he's a senior member of the Millwall squad. George Saville certainly is, and it goes on through other members of the squad of that level. The George thing was embarrassing last night. The laying on the floor. I don't know what lies behind that. Whatever lies behind it needs to get sorted out ASAP, or else you just don't pick him. I think someone said on these messages that Alex Neil needs to be brutal, stroke brave, whatever choice of words you want in his team selection, because we know what we're going to get from too many of these players. And as has been said on both of these shows as a result of last night's match, at best, the bulk of our squad is functional, and at worst, it's poor. And we've seen too many poor performances from senior players that, for whatever's got into their heads since the departure of Neil Harris, they need to get it out of their heads very quickly, because they're being paid to do a job and they're just not doing it at the moment. Where do we go from here? Where we go, in my opinion, and if I were Alex Neil, I would have looked with very wide open eyes at what I saw last night and Saturday and make choices based on that. The kids that we've brought in have looked bright, and some of the old lags, the old sweats, look like they are due for the exit door. I'm sure Alex Neil has been round the track enough times to know what's needed from there. Fresh legs can't do any worse than the old, the old legs that we're watching at the moment play so poorly. There we are. Big thank you to John and to Bobby. Going to play you out now, listeners, with Adam Wicks, Rob Woodford, and then one last one from Bobby. Big thank you to everyone for contributing to this show. It's not been an easy one to edit or to produce. I hope we've given you a bit of a laugh along the way. That's about all I can do as a podcaster and as an onlooker. But yeah, there we are. We're going to go, be back next week, probably with Merv on the Monday in the wake of the Luton show. Do continue to send me your voice notes. Really welcome. I enjoy listening to them. And let's hope for better next week, because this has been a pretty horrendous week for Millwall. So yeah, over to Adam, then Rob Woodford, and finally Bobby T. Thanks for listening, listeners. Arrivederci Millwall. Bye for now.
Morning, Nick. Just Adam Wicks here. Just dropping you a quick voice note after last night's 2-2 draw at home to Cardiff. I think I'll get the negative out of the way first. We can't, I don't think, carry on playing the sort of way we are, where we're just sort of brainlessly kicking the ball, panicking, and just losing control of games, losing composure, and then just ending up blowing it. I think, we have got a lot of injuries, but that being said, and I know we obviously lost Leonard and Danny Mack during the game yesterday, but that being said, the goalkeeper and the back four and Saville and Denor have pretty much been ever-present. So I don't really see why we've lost that solid foundation. We seem to just be a bit of an easy touch now, and we've got to get it back, because if we don't have that solid base, we're not going to outscore teams, I don't think. And I think we just need to sort of move on as quick as we can from last night. I'm sure people are going to be absolutely livid, but it's just individual errors cost us, which is a real shame. And then I just think quickly, just on the positive side of things, I thought Kramer, the French guy, looked good when he came on. Composed on the ball. We'll soon knock that out of him. And quick, big, physical, imposing, intelligent. Looks like first impressions are very good. Obviously, Bangura Williams. Some unbelievable skill, and putting far more experienced heads to shame in terms of control, and not panicking. I thought Denor was very good last night as well. Actually, I think he was again let down by some of those around him. It just worries me that even like the likes of sort of Tanganga seems to have gone off the boil now as well. We've just lost that like 5% of fight and drive and commitment that was sort of seeing us over the line earlier in the season, and we've got to start picking some points up soon. Otherwise, everyone's going to start panicking, and it's only there's nowhere to go from there. I think if we can just get some of these bodies back, Coburn. I know he's been injury prone, but we just need to get some bodies back so some of the other players can have a bit of a rest and try and push on. Anyway, on to Luton on Saturday. Come on, you Lions.
Well, after the disappointment of Saturday, now another one, but this was a real kick in the bollocks, conceding so late. I mean, there were some positives from the first half, of course, and some rare moments of magic. And the gaffer played the same system, but with two changes. And I thought Ivanovic had done enough to start, but I guess we have to manage the younger players with a bit more TLC than the more experienced Bassel-Harden seniors. But honestly, everyone was blowing out their arse at full time, weren't they? So Leonard gets in Cooper's way as he was hoofing it clear for the first goal, and Billy Mitch just needed to hook that ball towards the corner flag in the dying seconds, but just like against Hull for that late cross, he couldn't lift the ball. And before that, Honeyman embarrassed himself down by the corner flag when, instead of trying to run the clock down, he tried to convince the lino that he was fouled, but the official there, he just wasn't falling for his piss take. There will be blame and finger pointing by us fans, but Alex Neil now has the task of keeping this team spirit alive. A task which might have been much easier if Bomber was still in charge, yeah? So more 6-pointers are looming. And, I think we need the equivalent, as things stand, of 7 wins from 19 matches in order to start next August in the Championship. 50 points seems to be the magic word bandied about on socials, but here's a spoiler alert. We were relegated with 52 points in 1996, and Peterborough were relegated on 54 points in 2013. 50 points might not be enough this season when those clubs that are currently in a false position start climbing away from the bottom. Well, it's Luton next, and is it really 40 years since the infamous pitch battle at Kenilworth Road? Now, I know it must be very stressful being a Millwall defender at the moment, but is Japhet Tanganga actually turning grey, or did he rub his head on the goal line chalk towards the end of the match? And also, I wonder if there's any chance someone in the club shop can pop round to the shop and get a decent manager's jacket for the gaffer. Fuck knows what he was wearing last night, because from where I was sitting in Block 4, it looked like a puffer jacket out of Dr. Bernardo's charity shop.
Nick Hart, last Bobby T saying for the night, Alex Neil has 4 games in charge of Millwall. Forget the cup game. 4 games, 2 points. For me, shocking. Scottish manager, good guy, but shit football. Bye for now.
podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.